What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Now, today I want to share with you my initial review of this game, kind of my overall thoughts of Destiny as a whole. Before I get going, though, I do want to point out that I go on a beastly tear here. I think it's like a 10 or 11 kill streak to start off this match. Had a lot of fun. I really enjoy the Crucible. I've actually been playing it quite a bit, and depending on the network connection I have, I actually am fairly successful with it. I don't know if it's the Call of Duty skills kind of coming into play or if the old Halo skills are coming back, but it's actually quite a bit of fun. I've been doing pretty well with it, and as I get stuck on a corner there, I'm actually really enjoying Destiny so far. So I want to talk about kind of the game as a whole and kind of review the game as a whole, because even though I'm absolutely loving the game, I definitely see the faults that are out there. They're glaring faults, to be honest with you. So let's start off with the story mode, or the campaign mode, and then later on I'll move into the Crucible, the P versus P mode. So the story of this game is, let's say, a little lackluster. Like, it's there is a story to it, but it's pretty sparse, right? Now, there's probably a few reasons for this. The first one is that they're setting up this, like, grand adventure across space with your hero, and they don't want to give you all the goodies in the first game. But to be honest with you, I think they could have given us a little bit more to start with, a little bit more to get chewed in, or start chewing on, just so we kind of get hooked on this overarching story of Destiny. I don't really think there's enough there. Peter Dinklage and his acting, while I think Peter Dinklage is fine, there's just not enough drama. There's not enough of that Halo type, grand cinematic story. And I think that's also hurt by the fact that a lot of the story is delivered by Peter Dinklage kind of while you're loading screens. There's very few actual cinematic experiences, like big cutscenes. And I think that's probably for a reason, because you're going to be playing these missions so many times, trying to level up your character and then trying to level up your next character, you're going to get pretty sick of watching cutscenes over and over again. So what they kind of did is they kind of put them in these loading screens, just like Peter Dinklage talking over it, explaining what you're going to do and why you're doing it, and then you just jump right into the action. Now, if you're playing solo, that's kind of a pain. You don't get to get that grand experience like you did with Halo, and I think a lot of people are very disappointed because they thought, these are the guys that made one of the biggest space adventures in recent memory. Never mind just on video games. I mean, this was movie kind of epic quality, and it was, it's really a standout adventure, the Halo series. So people are a little bit disappointed looking at Destiny. There's just so little story there. But like I said before, I think there's probably a few reasons for that. And I'm not saying that they're good reasons. I'm just saying that the reasons are there. A lot of people have been talking about how the gameplay itself is kind of repetitious. And I can see that. It is a shooter, though, and what I don't agree with is people saying that the enemy AI is no good. The reason the enemy AI is no good is because you're still a low-level character. Once you start moving up into the higher levels, once you get, especially like past level 20, and you start doing these like weekly strikes, the enemy AI is good. They're aggressive. They hang back. They take a lot of damage. I mean, it's good AI. I think it stands up there with Bungie's finest. However, at the lower difficulties, when you're first starting out the game, and even while you're progressing through the campaign the first time, if you're always selecting the normal difficulty and you're never pushing yourself and getting to the hard difficulty, yeah, it does seem like the AI is a little bit dumb, because it is dumbed down. The game is easy enough for everybody to pick up and play it. It's not really until you put a few hours into it, or more than a few, really, like 20 hours into it, that you really start kind of seeing the depth of the AI. So I think that's actually kind of a fault with the game. Is like, I don't like games that hold back the fun. Like, you got games that say, the game doesn't get good until 20 hours in. I think that's a failing. That's a bad move. You need to. The whole point of playing a video game is to have fun from the beginning. I don't want to start having fun after I grind for 20 hours. Now, That wasn't my personal experience, but that's the arguments that I've heard. My personal experience was having a blast with the campaign, especially jumping in with friends, because the story matters a whole lot less when you and your friends are kind of having a good time playing the game, making fun of each other and making fun of the game, making fun of the story, making fun of Peter Dinklage. Whose Dinklage is this? I don't know where my Dinklage went. You know, that kind of stuff. And on that level, the game is an awful lot of fun. I really enjoy being able to play with two friends through the campaign. The strike missions are really fun. They're a little bit longer. You really have to coordinate with your friends to be successful at them. You can't just kind of willy-nilly go at it, especially when you put it on the harder difficulties. You really have to coordinate with your friends. You know, you want a good strategy for the game, and I think that's a successful thing about this game. I really enjoyed going all the way through the campaign. Now, another failing of the game is that they don't really explain enough to you, and by that I mean some of the systems. So there's a lot of confusion about how the game actually works. You know, what are these coins of light? What is the light armor? How do I keep progressing after I hit level 20, which is the level cap? A lot of people are really confused about the level cap at all. You know, what is the level cap? Because we saw that the level cap was 20, but then we also saw that you could go past that. So I wish that Destiny or Bungie had gotten out there and kind of, well, you know, just kind of clarified some of this. Made it a little bit easier for everybody to understand so we weren't just questioning everything as the game came out. With that being said, again, I kind of enjoy being able to figure out all this stuff. You know, me, Not Too Nerdy, and Robbie have been playing an awful lot, the guys from the Beastly Thought Show, and we've been kind of figuring this stuff out as we go, and that kind of adds to the fun for me. That's not for everybody. And I think that's what the problem is with the campaign, is it's just not for everybody. If you want a game like, let's say, Halo, if your main takeaway from Halo was this epic story and this grand space opera, that's not really what Destiny's going to bring to the table here. You know, they could have, they probably should have, but they didn't. What they did instead is kind of add a little bit of this MMO stuff in, add a lot of multiplayer, and they created a really fun multiplayer game. But a game that kind of suffers if you're not playing with your friends. It really shines when you're coordinating a strike team and you're all together and you're all talking and you're coordinating your movements and your strategies. That's where the game really shines, and that's where it's really fun. So if you just sit down to play it by yourself and you play mission after mission by yourself, yeah, I could see it getting kind of boring, and that's a failing on Bungie's part. I'm not making excuses for them. So that's my takeaway from the campaign is, you know, if you're into big story mode games, if, you know, your favorite kind of game is The Last of Us, where it's all about story and this really compelling narrative, you're not going to like this game. If you really like playing with your friends, this game is definitely for you. Now I want to talk about the competitive a little bit, the Crucible. I've been really having a good time with the Crucible. It's a lot of fun. I really like the aspect of moving from the campaign to the Crucible and bringing weapons that I found in either place to the other place, you know? So if I find like a really awesome pulse rifle in the campaign, I can bring that into the multiplayer and see how I do with it. Now, I will say about the multiplayer is, again, it doesn't really start until you hit about level 20. What you might find is that you're often really getting bashed. You know, you're really getting hurt when you're playing the multiplayer until you hit about level 20. Now, Destiny does a cool thing where kind of it takes away it evens out like the levels of the characters and the, you know, how good their weapons are. So everybody has about the same type of weapons, you know, like my assault rifle, that's a level 20 assault rifle, is going to do about the same amount of damage as somebody who's got a level 5 assault rifle. My big advantage, though, is all of the unlocks that I've unlocked. So when you are unlocking your character. When you're using your character, gaining experience, you're getting new abilities for your new character all the time. And those abilities are actually really strong. Like the Nova Bomb for the Warlock just keeps getting better and better and better. And bringing that into the multiplayer really helps. Same with the Hunter. When I started playing with the Blade Dancer in the Hunter on the Crucible, I found that, wow, this is actually really powerful. You don't get to shoot anything. What you do is you kind of run around with the knife and just start slicing away at people. And it also makes it really hard to shoot the person who's doing the Blade Dancer stuff, because he's kind of zipping and zapping around, and it's really hard to target him because he moves really fast. So you can actually get a lot of kills with that Blade Dancer special move. But that's not unlocked until you're level 15. Actually, you can't even become the Blade Dancer until you're level 15, and the super doesn't even unlock until probably you're level 16 or 17. So that stuff is all really late in the game, and somebody who just jumped into the game and is just getting mashed by this guy who's the Blade Dancer, he's gonna have a hard time with that. And I think that is the failing of Destiny. However, it's really rewarding to just keep going and kind of just unlocking. There's this massive carrot on a stick in Destiny's multiplayer that really keeps on giving. So, there it is. There's definitely some flaws with the game, but I have been really enjoying the game. And I can tell you, honestly, the guys from the Beastly Thoughts show have been really enjoying the game. We're definitely going to talk a lot about this on Sunday on the Beastly Thoughts show. So let me know down in the comments what you think about Destiny, both the campaign and the Crucible. And thank you for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.